EDH is an awesome fun format, and for many players, it's where all the magic begins. Today I'll show you how and why many EDH players transition to cEDH, what actually changes when you do, and what you can realistically expect from the format. Why you should try cEDH, and how it's different from casual EDH. cEDH isn't a different format, it's still Commander, but played with clearer expectations and fewer self-imposed limitations. In casual EDH, power levels are often unclear. In cEDH, everyone sits down with the same goal: to win. Because of that, games tend to be cleaner, more honest, and less random than many casual Commander games. You don't have to guess how strong your decks are. You don't have to hold back. You're allowed to play your deck the way it's actually designed to work. Key differences. Time. A single EDH game can easily take several hours. cEDH games, by comparison, usually resolve much faster. Getting eliminated early in EDH can be frustrating because you might be watching the same game for hours afterward. In cEDH, games rarely drag on that long. Even when you lose, you're usually back in another game quickly. Skill expression. Winning here is much more about decision making, timing, and understanding the table. Luck still exists, this is magic after all, but outcomes are far more influenced by player choices than by random chaos. Interaction and game flow. In many casual games, action mostly happens on your own turn. If it's not your turn, you're often just waiting, watching the game until you get to play again. Over time, this can make games feel repetitive or even stale. In cEDH, that's very different. The game is much more active, and you're constantly involved even when it's not your turn. You need to stay focused on the table because win attempts can happen at any moment. Interaction is not optional, it's central to the format. Counterspells, removal, and disruption usually stop someone from winning immediately or gaining a decisive advantage. You're not interacting just to interact, you're protecting the game state. What holds players back from trying cEDH? I'm not good enough. Many players think they are not good enough to play cEDH, but nobody starts off as a good player. If you already understand Commander, you're much closer than you think. You can only learn it by playing games, making mistakes, and gradually understanding why things happen. Most tables are very open to explaining lines and decisions, especially if you communicate that you're new. Isn't cEDH just for tournaments? Many people associate cEDH exclusively with tournaments. In reality, a large portion of players don't play tournaments at all. For most players, the format is simply Commander with clear expectations. Everyone knows the power level. Everyone plays to win, and the game naturally unfolds from there. Tournaments are just one environment where cEDH happens, not the reason the format exists. Isn't cEDH expensive? In short, no, but it can be if you wanted to. Paper slip proxies are widely accepted in kitchen table magic, especially for learning and testing. Almost all tournaments allow regular proxies, sometimes with specific rules or limits. Most people even lend you cards for a tournament. Cost should not be the barrier to playing. I'm worried about the community. Some EDH players worry that the cEDH players are toxic, unfriendly, or overly competitive. Stories about 11-hour games or hostile tables are exceptions, not the norm. Most games are focused, communicative, relaxed, and most importantly, fun. Getting into cEDH. Main deck archetypes. Competitive Commander decks fall into different playstyles. Turbo decks try to win as fast as possible. Mid-range decks focus on stopping others while assembling their own win. Stacks decks slow the table down and build incremental advantage. Combos and win conditions. One important difference compared to casual play is that traditional creature-based beatdown decks are very rare. Winning through combat damage alone usually isn't fast or reliable enough. Creatures still matter, but mostly as combo pieces, value engines, or disruptive elements. The main exceptions are stacks decks. which can slowly pressure the table while locking down resources. Most wins follow a few common patterns, such as 2-card combos. These naturally become familiar as you play. You don't need to memorize every combo in your first games. It's more important to understand how your own deck wins. Where to find cEDH decks and resources. Net decking is completely normal and often encouraged, but you don't have to play a top-tier meta deck to have fun. Sites like Moxfield and EDH Top 16 exist to help players learn what works and what doesn't. There are also many podcasts for beginners and advanced players out there. Politics and communication. Communication is very important. Calling out win attempts, asking questions, and talking through decisions is normal. Clear communication doesn't make the game worse, it makes it better. Common beginner mistakes. One of the most common mistakes players make when playing their first games is interacting just to be the hero. Spells are a valuable resource. You don't need to answer everything immediately. Often the correct play is to keep your cool and wait for a priority and sometimes see how the stacks develops. Interacting too early can leave you defenseless when it actually matters. Understanding priority, turn order, and shared responsibility is a major step in becoming a better player. Other common beginner mistakes are less about gameplay and more about preparation. Some players build decks that don't fit how they actually like to play. Others constantly switch decks instead of learning one deeply. Repetition matters. Sticking to one commander teaches you lines, mulligans, and interaction patterns far faster than jumping between decks. cEDH isn't for everyone, and it doesn't have to be. But if you enjoy fast, fun, and action-packed games with meaningful decisions, then it might just be for you. If you're curious, start looking for some established deck lists on EDH Top 16 and try them out on Moxfield. And if you feel ready, sleeve up a deck and play some games.